Hey guys, what is up? It's Dusty here, and welcome back to another crypto video. Now, straight at the bat here, if we're talking about the crypto prices, almost all the cryptos are going down a little bit. I mean, Bitcoin has found itself with minus 1%, Ethereum with about minus 3, BNB minus 1.3, ADA minus 4.4, and XRP minus 3.5. Respectively, their prices are just, again, a little bit lower than the prices which we saw yesterday, XRP landing at about $1.04. And to be honest with you guys, there isn't really a good explanation for why this is all going on right now, except for two main reasons. One, a critical rejection for Bitcoin, and two, a lot of the major FUD that's already kind of hovering around that I've explained to you guys in yesterday's video. Alright, so first of all, I want to quickly discuss with you guys some of these prices. For Bitcoin, I think it's most apparent. We found some rejection at the critical level, which we explained yesterday, here at about 48.2 thousand. You can clearly see this is a double top. Some people are pointing out that there's a head and shoulders pattern forming, and theoretically speaking, this pattern could be looking like this. There could be one forming over the next couple of days. We shall see. You might actually see another sort of head and shoulder pattern in there. It's completely possible. But in the way which I see it right now, I'm seeing a double top, first top right here, a second top right now, or potentially a triple top. 1, 2, 3. There's also a couple of times earlier where we've actually hit this level, but those are kind of found irrelevant because of the move which we saw here. We can, however, really conclude that it's an important level and an important crossover, as that is basically our last big line for the big downward sloping trend line that would end at about 50.5 thousand. So this is basically or at least one of our most important areas to cross for Bitcoin. And again, there's right now mainly two scenarios. One is to kind of retest this and try testing the trend line eventually, or come back down to about 41,000 because that's the most important close level for Bitcoin. You might say about $45,000 or so. I can understand where you're coming from, but I don't think there's going to be too much of a hassle at that level. I think we'd fall all the way right back to about 41,000 if this level is going to get rejected, but we shall see in the near future. On the XRP forefront, I would say it's actually a little bit easier because XRP actually is just following along with the bullish narrative still. And that's, again, depending on your perspective. All right, from a weekly, we are still within the triangle. And even though they are making lower highs, basically, we are making higher lows. So what that actually shows is even though we made a big high right here, and the second high wasn't higher to show a bull run, but lower, which shows a bear run, for example, our support levels have been increasing. So our first support was right there, our second support was right there, and our third support has been found right there. So from that perspective, it is neither bullish nor bearish. And the fact that we are still moving within the triangle and actually, again, keep making higher supports like that, I would say is actually more bullish than bearish if you compare it to all the other things we are seeing in the market. And again, for XRP, the short term also shows the exact same thing. We basically bounced off the trend line a couple of days ago, and right now are bouncing back at the 0.618 Fibonacci extension level at about $1.07 or so. I would say that that's the most important area for XRP right now. And then in terms of the entire altcoin market cap, guys, I would say that that one is the easiest one to kind of pull a line through. It's actually so freaking simple. There was a bullish flag. You can see it all right here. The flagpole, the flag. It's a continuation pattern. And right now we broke out to the upside like I expected and like I said. And we are, kind of hovering down for one day or so. It all doesn't really matter too much, guys. I'm going to keep saying this is a bullish pattern because it's a continuation of the wave which we've had before. And so if we had to make a choice, I am very, very excited about the near future. All right. But that's all besides the point. Let's talk about some news, huh? So James Filan put up this very interesting article over on his Twitter. This is an interesting read, part 1 of a series. My Washington Post subscription allows me to share at no cost to you. Read it here. So I checked it out, of course. Billions hidden beyond reach. It's a very interesting article, but it's going to be a very, very long story for everybody to kind of get into or to kind of share over on YouTube. But if you have time, this is definitely something I can recommend you to kind of get into. However, it's not something that's kind of nice to cover in a video like this. And also, I'm thinking, I mean, I could just take a subscription. It's freaking 3 months for $1. Why didn't I just buy it then? Because this man has sent us this free article, which is very, very nice. But I mean, I was like, but it's a very cool series, so I can definitely recommend some people to check it out if you want to. It's again shared by our main lawyer in the Ripple v SEC case, who's been sharing all these facts. So just want to quickly give a token of appreciation to him. And then this is kind of something interesting I've been seeing in the community every here and there. It is Mr. Whale, or most important, I guess most frankly, the unpopular opinion which he's shouting about. Bitcoin is in a bear market and will tank under $10,000 in 2022. So, very interesting. Very, very interesting. Let me say it like this. There are always going to be these contrarians who are going to say that Bitcoin, for example, or any other asset for that matter, is going to crash. And usually, these guys prey upon that expectation because they'll get a lot of credibility and money that way if it happens. So, usually it works like this, right? I'm, for example, a big bull on Bitcoin, and all of a sudden I switch over and become a bear. Or no, let's do it more critically. This is an example, hypothetical. I am very bullish on XRP, and all of a sudden one day I am the biggest bear there is. Why? Because I have found something which leads me to believe that one of these days, weeks, months, years, there's going to be a big crash, and I can get, a spark of fame that way. Why would I do it? And why would I not just stay bullish? Well, because almost everybody is natively bullish, but being bearish is a choice which most people have to kind of actively choose for. So by being bearish and actually being right, you get a lot more recognition than if you were right on being bullish, basically. If I'm telling people, oh, XP is going to see a couple of dollars, there's actually a higher chance of being right, basically, than being wrong. But it's also because the majority of people are just kind of that way, right? And it's not as special if somebody is being right about a bull run. It's more special about somebody's being right about a bear run, people find. Even though it's actually equally as hard, people find it that way because most people just believe in the good more than in the bad. So he's stating on a popular opinion like that, knowing he's going to get a lot of attention. And if any of the next months, because again, he's been shouting this for months upon months upon months, potentially years. If anybody actually states this, they can never be disproven. If he says it might hit $10,000 in 2022 and it doesn't happen, he's going to go on and say, oh, it's going to happen in 2023. You can kind of keep that notion going. And he's going to maybe take this $10,000 level because I'm not sure, right? But it could literally be that a couple of months ago, he said Bitcoin was going to go crash to 6,000 or 3,000. And now he changed his mind. Why do we not know? Well, because nobody actually cares about things which happened in the past. People look at this and be like, oh, it's getting lots of attention. So I just want to say about that one, like John Wicker says, a lot of these guys will eventually be right. So they just keep shouting it out. I don't really give this too much attention, though. It's just me. Then in terms of Shiba, I also have, I guess, something open about that. I forgot about it a little bit. I have another video coming up, I think, on my second channel about Shiba. It's a coin that I enjoy watching the updates for it. It's interesting. So Dr. Baza came up to me saying, Shiba is moonbound, whales are in. And I mean, if you actually look at it, Shiba was doing quite well for a little bit throughout the day. The volume is definitely high, but more importantly, actually, like baby Floki, mini Floki, all those coins were doing really, really well. Not anymore, but before, because of Elon Musk's tweets. And I mean, in terms of Shiba Inu, the whales indeed have been buying billions of dollars. No, I'm going to say $50 million or so worth of Shiba was bought by some whales, billions of coins. It's interesting, but I wouldn't go too berserk or too crazy because we don't really know what the next step is going to be. A lot of people are speculating that Robinhood is going to get in a partnership with them. It could be, but that's again what it is, speculation. So you don't know for sure. Be very careful with that type of stuff. If you don't know for sure, it's a risk, right? That's literally the definition of it. All right, then these factors will open up XRP's route to $1.30. We've talked about this very often. I keep telling people there's no one thing, two things. There's nothing that can stop it from getting there. It's actually a gradual process if you were to ask me to. And I think it's really a process of closing your eyes and opening them back up that you're noticing, oh, wow, it just hit that. Oh, wow, it got there so quickly. It looks as if it takes a long time, basically. But it's going to happen in the blink of an eye. And many people say, oh, Dusty, you've been supporting XP for so long. Yes. All right. Yes, I have. Because I'm still holding and I'm still, I guess, excited about it. A lot of people don't understand how important this lawsuit is. But more importantly, that everything could change in the span of a couple of second. So and even though XRP, for example, has underperformed if you compare it to some other assets, which then again, people are freaking, sometimes I really get angry at myself when I read the comment section for people having these very ignorant comments saying XP hasn't done anything, when in fact, the price has gone from like 11 cents to $2 still, times 20 in the span of 1 year and 2 months. So from that perspective, I always want to kind of shout at myself for not educating people well enough, I guess. If people are still that ignorant, then I didn't do my job properly, I guess. But to kind of come back to it, I still think the coin is amazing. And I still think that even though it's been underperforming, it's going to kind of take back for all of that when it goes. When will it go? It might still take a long time. I don't really know. But the problem is, I guess, or the good part is, I don't know, that I don't really care. I have patience. I have time because I know where we're headed. Again, I'm not 100% sure. No, but that's my own expectation of it. And again, you don't have to listen to me. You don't have to buy or sell because of me. Please, I'm not a financial advisor, but that's my thought process. All right. Then let's move on. Is the SEC's new desperate attempt to prove XRP a security? They have a new attempt? What's going on with that? So yes and no. So now, I've been talking basically about how the SEC is changing up their tactics a little bit. And this is something that just came out. Ripple files a motion for extension of time to respond to SEC's request for telephonic conference in order to seek protective order relieving the SEC of any obligation to respond to the requests. The statement was, recordings are the best unadulterated evidence of Ripple's and the individual defendants' contemporaneous views, treatment, and marketing of XRP during the relevant time period. Indeed, the recordings Ripple has produced so far are highly probative for the key disputes. Referring to the SEC's new directive, we can understand that the regulating agency desperately wants to prove Ripple's XRP is a security, an XP community arguing that the government entity failed to find at least a single piece of evidence, hence it is playing new strategies. Additionally, recordings of the company would include confidential information, sometimes that SEC must not intervene. My own thoughts about this is the SEC is, again, if you're asking me, indeed taking a little bit of a different approach. I am also guessing that instead of going straight ahead for saying every XRP transaction is a security transaction, they're going more for the way that Ripple treated it, Ripple saw it, and Ripple acted along. So, for example, they want these recordings to see what did Ripple tell their marketing employees? What were they supposed to market? What were they supposed to leave out? And how did they personally perceive basically the status of XRP? And how did they want to make that known to the public? I basically changed my mind a little bit on this because of everything we've been reading in the last couple of weeks here. But it clearly looks to me as if the SEC has changed their perspectives and is going more so for a slam dunk on that department rather than the entire win of the game. They want to go for a slam dunk and make some headlines and do really, really well while still losing the game eventually, if you ask me. Because they're not going to get the results which they want, which is XP as a security. But they might get a win somewhere that, for example, Ripple marketed it as XRP, which ultimately is a very interesting thing, right, for the headlines. Wow, wow, whoa. But I don't think they're going to actually win the entire battle. Again, if you ask me. All right. Before we, I guess, end the episode here, I want to quickly tell you guys to go ahead and check out my Instagram. It is TheDustDBC. You might want to follow me over on there. You might not want to. Share a couple of memes on there. Share a couple of things in real life. Or just share things which I think you guys might want to check out. So once more, a link for my Instagram will be down below. What have I shared in there now? I think just, here, Crypto Alex and my view. If you want to check it out, go ahead and check it out. It is over on my Instagram. I share a lot of stuff over there. I also have some videos that I took myself. For example, here in Bulgaria, I took this one last time. And our last time that we were in Dubai, I took this video right here, which is kind of similar, I guess, to what I have in my story now. It's not the same, but it's kind of similar because that was kind of my coolest video at the time. And now I was thinking it's another cool video. But go ahead and check my Instagram out. A link is going to be down below. And yeah, guys, that was it for today's video. Hopefully you enjoyed it. And I'll see you guys again in another crypto video later today.